I want to focus now on the mysterious circumstances surrounding Carrie Tolstedt's retirement in July. As you know, Ms. Tolstedt ran the community banking division, the division where this scam occurred, for the entire time that the scam took place. She was in charge of all of the 5,300 employees who were fired, and she oversaw the creation of 2 million fake accounts. Now, in July of this year, just 2 months before the settlement was announced, and before those facts became public, Ms. Tolstedt retired at age 56. You indicated in the letter, responding to our letter, that she walks away with over $90 million in stock options, and awards. Fortune magazine says it's actually about $125 million. But, and here's the key part, according to Fortune, if Ms. Tolstedt had been fired instead of retiring, she would have had to forfeit as much as $45 million of that award. Mr. Stumpf, the response to our letter confirms that you knew of this scandal before Ms. Tolstedt retired. It said, and this is from your letter, quote, senior management and the board were aware of the pending litigation, investigation, and discussions with our regulators relating to sales practices when Ms. Tolstedt indicated her decision to retire. Is that accurate, Mr. Stumpf, what this letter says? Were you personally aware of the massive problem that occurred under Ms. Tolstedt's watch in July when she announced her retirement?
I was aware of that. We were involved in discussions with the city attorney, the OCC, and the CFPB, yes.
So you had some indication there was a massive problem.
We had some indication that we had 1% of our people who were doing the wrong thing.
Also known as a massive problem.
Well,
if you knew this, did you consider firing Ms. Tolstedt before she retired?
Well, at the time, she was reporting to our President and Chief Operating Officer.
It's a simple question. You knew there was a problem. Did you consider firing her?
No, because of her full...
Seriously? You found out that one of your divisions had created 2 million fake accounts, had fired thousands of employees for improper behavior, and had cheated thousands of your own customers, and you didn't even once consider firing her ahead of her retirement?
Well, in fact, when I look at her full body of work, and I look at the customer loyalty improvement and the customer service improvement...
Are you sure that those were not fake?
All the work that was done, she chose to retire. And I'd also like to make one other comment, because you made the...
So you... no, I'm just on this. You never considered firing her. So now Ms. Tolstedt has apparently retired, but is also staying with the firm through the end of the year. And in the response to our letter, you state, or the person writing it states, quote, Ms. Tolstedt is eligible to be considered for a 2016 annual incentive award. An incentive award for doing a great job in 2016? Mr. Stumpf, that is unbelievable. You are the chairman of the board and the CEO. In those roles, do you think it would be appropriate for Ms. Tolstedt to get another bonus on top of the millions that she has already gotten as a reward for her role in this massive scam?
The board will consider that. I don't want to prejudice the board, but I also want to make one comment.
I don't understand that answer. You know, you and your board have already made changes. You've made changes to the compensation scheme for thousands of employees. You've sat here today and talked about that. You've removed sales quotas, I think you told us. You've reformed incentives. Why can that be done quick as a wink across the entire bank? But a question about cutting compensation for a highly placed executive who oversaw a massive fraud takes long deliberation? Why is that?
Because there's a board governance process, and we want that to work properly. And whether Carrie was retired or she was fired, there'd be no difference with respect to how the board can deal with that.
I'm sorry, if she was fired, it is my understanding she would not be entitled to large parts of her compensation. It's not just a clawback issue. We're talking about she doesn't get them to begin with if she gets fired, but you let her walk out of the door with a retirement. I don't quite understand. How do you explain this to your own shareholders?
There is a process that the board goes through, and they will do that. They've already met, and we won't give that.
I don't understand. You keep saying there's, you know, the board, as if these are strangers that you met in a dark alley. Under the bylaws of Wells Fargo, and I'm quoting here, the chairman shall preside at all meetings of the board.
And
you were able to make changes. Why can you not make a change here?
I'm not on the Human Resources Committee of the board. They have their own governance and structure. We want that to proceed in the process in which we have.